Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the volume of rectangular solids. Okay, so this is going to go along with days 1 through 3 of week 5 of your packet because they all cover the same skills. Okay, so once you learn how to do these 3 days, you should be a pro at finding the volume of rectangular solids. Okay, so to get us started, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what a rectangular solid even is. Okay, because you might be thinking right now, Ms. Reniker, I haven't really heard the phrase rectangular solid, but I can bet you that you've heard rectangular prism. Okay, so rectangular solids are more often known as rectangular prisms. That's usually what I refer to them as during class, but they call them solids because they're solid 3D shapes. Okay, that can hold some kind of volume. It can hold a number of cubes, or if you cut it open, maybe even liquid inside it. So that's why they call them solids. Okay, so you may have also heard of a special type of rectangular prism called a cube. A cube is one of those prisms where every side is the same length. Okay, so a rectangular prism is a solid 3D shape that has 6 faces that are all flat and that are all rectangular shaped. So if you look at this one right here, there are 6 different faces or sides to it, and each one is a rectangular shape. That's why it's called a rectangular prism. Now, how would we see these in real life? Okay, so some real life examples might be a tissue box. It could be your microwave. It could be a book. It could even be something as thin as this painting. Okay? What's important though is that every side of it is a rectangular shape. Okay? So it has to have 6 different faces and they all have to be flat rectangles. That's what makes up a rectangular prism. So let's go ahead now and look at what it takes to draw a rectangular prism. So if we look at this example right here, they have rectangular prisms that they've split into the smaller cubes because that's what every prism like this rectangular prism is made up of. So this one right here, it has a length of 2, it has a width of 2, and it has a height of 2. That means that it is 2 cubes wide, 2 unit cubes. It is 2 unit cubes long or deep, and it's 2 unit cubes high. This one is 3 cubes wide. It is 3 cubes long, 2 cubes wide, and 2 cubes high, right? Length and width are kind of interchangeable. As long as you're labeling them, some models might say this is the width and this is the length. Some might say this is the length and this is the width. Either way, it doesn't matter. This one is 3 by 2 by 2. Okay, so when you're going to find the volume is how many cubes can fit into this 3-dimensional shape. So, like I said, for this one over here, it is 2 long, 2 wide, and 2 high. So, oh, wow, got a little carried away with that too. I'm so sorry. So, to find the volume, we have to multiply each of these numbers by each other. So we're taking that 2 times this 2 times that 2. Okay? So I know that 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So my final volume is 8 units cubed. And that's a little 3 up there. Or 8 cubic units. Okay? Now this shape we said is 3 long, 2 wide, and 2 high. Okay, I know that 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. So the volume of this shape is 12 units cubed. And we can check that by going back and counting the number of cubes in this model here. So if I look I have 6 cubes in my little top section here. I know there's one just like it underneath, so that's 6 more. 6 plus 6 would be 12. So my answer of 12 units cubed makes sense. Okay, so that is how we would find the volume of a shape like that, where it gives you the model that's divided into the cubes. Now let's talk about what happens if it doesn't do that, because some of the pages in our packet, they don't divide them by cubes. So day 1, it wants you to build a rectangular solid. Yours that you draw is going to look just like that model that we did, but it's going to be 5 cubes wide, 7 long, and 5 high. Okay, so if you need help with that, use the examples on this page to kind of help you out. This page you're going to solve just like the ones that I showed you. So if we look at this example here, the width is going to be 1, 2, 3. It's 3 deep or 3 wide, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes long. And it is 1, 2, 3 cubes high. Okay. So then I'm going to take 3, which is my width, times, excuse me, 4, which is my length, times 3, which is my height. Okay. So 3 times 4, I know that's 12. And then when I take 12 times 3, I know that's 36. So my volume for number 1 here is going to be 36 cubic units, or units cubed. And I could check that once again by going through and counting the number of individual cubes in my shape here. Because like I said, volume is the number of cubes that your 3-dimensional shape can hold, or the number of units it can hold. Okay, so if we look at day 2 continued, they want you to draw an example of that rectangular solid. Okay, so I'm not going to be picky. You don't need to draw the individual lines in it, as long as you draw a shape that kind of looks like it. So this one is 3 wide, it is 5 long, and it is 4 high. Okay, I think that looks about like it could be 3 by 5 by 4, don't you? So I'm going to draw it. I'm going to make it look like a nice little 3D shape here. Okay, and yours doesn't have to be perfect. We can all see that mine is not perfect. But as long as you label it, that is the main thing that I care about. Okay, so we're gonna call it 3 units wide. Five long and 4 high. Okay, and then I'm gonna multiply all those numbers together because my formula for volume is length times width times height. Okay, so I know that 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 4 is going to give me 60. Okay, so I've discovered that my volume, once I multiply all those numbers together, is 60 units cubed. Okay. Well, let's look at day number 3 now, because day number 3 does exactly what I just did. It gives you a model without the little cubes in it. Okay, don't worry, it's the same process as earlier when we were finding the volume. Okay, you find your width, which in this one is going to be 8. You could really call it 8 or 3, depending on which one you like, as long as you use the opposite one for your length. Okay, so I'm going to call it a width of 8 and a length of 3. And then my height is going to be 4. Okay, so to find the volume, I'm going to take 8 times 3 times 4, because I got to take the length times the width times the height. Okay. I know that 8 times 3 gives me 24. So if I set up 24 times 4, I know that 4 times 4 is going to give me 16. carry my 1 up here. 4 times 2 is 8, plus that 1 is going to be 9. Okay, so the total volume of number 1 here is going to be 96 cubic units, or 96 units cubed. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that, and then we can look at part number 2 of day 3, which is story problems. Now for this one, you might be saying, Miss Reniker, how do I solve it when it hasn't given me a model? Okay, well, you can draw a model if you want, or if you feel confident in your multiplication skills, you can just search out the numbers in it. Okay, so what I mean is, if we look at it here, it says Una needs to buy a new dresser. First, she measures the space in her room where her dresser will go. She measures that her dresser can be 4 feet tall, 8 feet wide, and 2 feet long. Okay, so you'll notice I highlighted my numbers there because that's what I'm going to use to solve my problems. Because it asks, what will the volume of her new dresser be? So we're looking for the volume of her new dresser. That is what we're solving for. Okay, so if I look back up at my problem, I see that my height is 4 feet. My width is 8 feet. And my length is 2 feet. Okay. And I know that my formula for volume is length times width times height. So to solve this, I'm going to take 4 times 8 times 2. I know that 4 times 8 gives me 32. And then if I take 32 times 2, that 2 times 2 would give me 4. 2 times 3 would give me 6. So my answer is 64. My final answer then to this problem is that Una's new dresser will be 64 cubic feet. Which, if you ask me, that's a pretty big dresser. She could fit a lot of clothes in there. So that's how you're going to go about solving these story problems. I hope that this helped you to understand volume a little bit more, because I know that it's been a little bit since we've done it in class. But if you have any more questions, please reach out and let me know. In the meantime, though, I hope this helps. Stay safe and good luck.